Hello. Yeah, my name is Dawn Ryan, and I am the cave specialist, the manager of Mystery Cave here in Forestville Mystery Cave State Park in Minnesota. And yes, I am going to talk a little bit about the Minnesota or the Driftless Area Karst Trail and how it was developed. And so I'll just start with a question that, when you think of the Midwest and more specifically Minnesota, what comes to mind initially? And, is this how you imagine Minnesota and perhaps the caving scene? Well, actually, this is a photo of me but in White Chief Cave in Mineral King in Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks. And Dan might recognize this area. It does get cold here in Minnesota. It got down to minus 47 degrees this winter. Cold like this is not that unusual. But what Cody the dog is looking out over is the driftless area here in Minnesota. I was recently speaking with an NSS board member who said to me, you don't think of Minnesota as having caves. I never knew this was here, he said. And I've asked people who live in the driftless area if they ever heard of the term karst and was told no. Most of the people that live here don't know that they're living in a really special spot. And so it was because of these sort of comments, these perceptions of this area that prompted the creation of the Driftless Area Karst Trail, which is a conservation task force of the NSS. And so I'll begin by answering the question, what is the driftless area? So you know why we are doing this project. Ages ago, advancing glaciers essentially bulldozed the Midwest, forming the flat and rolling plains that are its trademarks. And as they receded their drift, all their material within the melting ice and snow coated the land. The driftless area escaped the flattening effects of glaciation during the last ice age and is consequently distinguished by steep forested ridges, deeply carved rivers, and karst geology characterized by sinkholes, caves, springs, and in this area, cold water trout streams. The rugged terrain is due both to the lack of glacial deposits or drift and to the incision of the upper Mississippi River and its tributaries into bedrock. Colloquially, the term includes the incised Paleozoic plateau of southeastern Minnesota and northeastern Iowa. And the region includes elevations ranging from 603 feet to over 1,700 feet at Blue Mounds State Park, which is in Wisconsin. And so the driftless area includes over 24,000 square miles, and it exists in 4 states: Northeast Iowa, Southeast Minnesota, Southwest Wisconsin, and a small corner in Northwest Illinois, covering all or parts of 57 counties. But really, what is the driftless area? Well, there's a lot of exposed bedrock in the driftless. The driftless is defined by towering limestone bluffs and deeply carved valleys that accent a region which boasts home to the greatest concentration of cold water streams in the world. So if you love trout fishing, this is the place to do it. And it has hundreds, if not thousands, of springs. And with karst, there are caves, of course. Within the driftless region of southeast Minnesota, for instance, there are a little over 400 caves here. Mystery Cave is the longest cave in the state with around 13 miles of surveyed passage. And the cave is managed by the Minnesota DNR as a state park and show cave. Iowa has around 960 caves, and its longest is Coldwater Cave at 17 miles of surveyed passage. In Fillmore County, Minnesota, the town of Fountain, while named for its big spring, is the self-proclaimed sinkhole capital of Minnesota. Fountain lies in a sinkhole plain, a place with more than 20 sinkholes per square mile. So as a result, in the land of 10,000 lakes, there are no natural lakes here in Fillmore County, which is kind of a funny fact. But the driftless area has incredible biodiversity. Ecologically, the driftless area's flora and fauna are more closely related to those of the Great Lakes region and perhaps New England than those of the broader Midwest and Central Plains. The driftless is also an ecological treasure. It harbors native species and rare remnants of the Pleistocene epoch. The landscape yields a diverse array of ecotypes ranging from prairie to savanna to hardwoods and mixed forests with thick layers of mosses and ferns and liverworts that can be found on these coldest portions of the slopes. You can also, along with that area, you get yellow and paper birch, mountain maple, yew, and balsam fir. And the neat thing is the area is also home to 96% of the entire population of the federally threatened northern monkshood plant, which we're seeing here. And perhaps the rarest and most endangered animals are the glacial plants and snails living in the coldest habitats, an algific talus slope. These algifics are rocky hillsides that actually breathe cold air and supports endangered Ice Age species. And it's just one of the more unique ecosystems to be found in the driftless. But because of their unique geology, these hillsides remain cold even in the hottest days and contain plants and animals found during glacial periods 10,000 years ago. The Iowa Pleistocene snail, which we're looking at right now, once thought to be extinct, was rediscovered in 1980. And well, besides the Iowa Pleistocene snail, many other land snails make their homes on these slopes, including 8 additional species that have been proposed for endangered species status. The ecosystem diversity lends itself to a great biological diversity as well. Particularly along the cold water streams where aquatic and terrestrial and aerial communities sort of weave their fates together. Some like this timber rattler are keystone species, indicators of environmental health. The timber rattlesnake, Crotalus horridus, is a threatened species here in Minnesota and is only found in the blufflands of southeast Minnesota. Just a little bit of history of that. Minnesota paid a bounty for timber rattlers all the way up until 1989. And in the 1940s, nearly 6,000 rattlesnakes were submitted for bounty in Houston County alone, but by 1987, fewer than 200 snakes were harvested. So intensive harvest had a tremendous impact on Minnesota's rattlesnake population, so much so that the species is listed as threatened in 1996. And today we still have rattlesnakes in Minnesota's driftless region, but the range is greatly reduced and many once active dens are now gone. But these photos that you're looking at are from a newly discovered den here in Forestville, Mystery Cave State Park. And the bottom photo, if you look at it, has a northern long-eared bat, another endangered species, flying from that same den. And just as an example of the impact, right now a wind energy company is attempting to place wind turbines within a quarter mile of this location. The driftless area is also geologically, it is geologically and biologically amazing. But from a historical perspective, the area has a rich human history as well. Native Americans used this place as a sacred meeting ground for ages. Throughout the Driftless, one can still find various holy grounds with effigy mounds built by our ancient Native American predecessors. Effigy Mounds National Monument, which we're looking at right now, just outside Harper's Ferry, Iowa, protects over 200 of these mounds in a scenic woodland environment. It's very pretty. I was just there a few months ago. Well, until the Driftless was settled by European farmers, much of the land remained forested and untilled. This highly erosive and fragile soil of the karst landscape does not suit row cropping monocultures very well. But this is an example caused by intensive farming practices in the Whitewater Valley near Rochester, Minnesota. And for reference, can you see the man up here on the left? So this is how big that erosion gully was, how big it is, how much erosion happened back then. The first European settlers, they overcleared and they overgrazed the landscape, resulting in catastrophic erosion and flooding, with some of the worst flooding occurring in the 1920s and 30s here. Floods increased for towns like Beaver and Whitewater Falls. And then in 1938, Beaver, the town of Beaver, was flooded 28 times. And so by 1940, both towns had to be abandoned after being buried under 15 feet of sediments. So it took serious efforts to restore the valley, including the establishment of the Whitewater Wildlife Management Area in 1931, along with Whitewater State Park. The state, there were state and federal conservation officials who worked with local landowners and implemented sweeping conservation measures. The establishment of the Richard Dorr State Forest, which encompasses over 1 million acres, and it's managed by the state of Minnesota, private individuals, community groups, and governed by easements. And finally, with the help of the Whitewater Watershed Project, this is what the valley looks like today. And so you see, in spite of the beauty of the Driftless area, it hasn't always been a rosy story when it comes to the human use of the land. As with any karst topography, throwing in humans to the equation creates a myriad of issues, from agriculture, where the water here can be very contaminated with nitrates, to animal confinement lots, to groundwater contamination from septic systems, and as well as infrastructure failure and destruction of caves from building on karst. So which is why we developed the Driftless Area Karst Trail, to help bring awareness of this area. And this is where the connection to Virginia comes in. In 2019, I attended the National Cave and Karst Management Symposium in Bristol, Virginia. It was an excellent symposium, and I hadn't attended one since the 2011 symposium in Utah. Will Ordenoff of the Virginia DCR was the chair, and he did a great job. Everybody there did a great job, so thank you. But while at the symposium, I learned about the Virginia Cave and Karst Trail. And during the symposium, a field trip or two took us along the trail and stopped at a few of the sites the trail highlighted. And I thought, well, this was a really cool idea, and wouldn't it be neat if the Driftless area did this? And so with the International Year of Cave and Karst, the idea of the Driftless Area Karst Trail was established. And I thought we should probably model it after the Driftless, or model the Driftless Area Karst Trail after the Virginia Cave and Karst Trail, which is promoted as a way to educate the public to cave and karst features. Stops along the driving route include fee-based show caves, scenic views, and self-guided hikes. I thought, well, you know, there's no reason to reinvent the wheel here since their karst trail is so successful. So I called, or maybe I emailed Will for some advice, and he forwarded me to Meredith, our host here. And she graciously has been helping us and said I could plagiarize anything from their Virginia Karst Trail. And I did. I stole some of her ideas, or their ideas. Our first meeting started out with some work colleagues here in the Minnesota DNR and with Holly Larson of the National Park Service. And through those long conversations, it was realized that the Driftless area encompasses 3 other states, and we should invite interested folks from Iowa, Illinois, and Wisconsin too. It was interesting that by the next meeting, there were over 35 people attending that meeting. And at first it was sort of like herding cats with all the opinions, but eventually some of the really good ideas were fleshed out and some good contacts were initiated. And on the meetings were folks from the National Speleological Society, the National Park Service, the Northeast Iowa Resource Conservation and Development, the League of Women Voters, Wisconsin and Illinois State Geologic Surveys, and, you know, of course, Meredith, and several state organizations, NGOs, and citizen scientists from all 4 states. So it was a really collaborative effort. And one of those first few meetings, we were able to flesh out some goals of the project. And those include the following: local communities and partnering organizations will benefit from increased tourism at their sites. Visitors will gain an engaging, immersive opportunity for outdoor adventure and learning. And that area residents will benefit from the increased awareness and stewardship of our groundwater resources, which are extremely sensitive in this region. And then the other thought was that school children from across the region will have access to the online resources and Flyover Country App, which I'll talk about in a minute, so that they can experience this trail without having to travel. And some of the goals that we hope to achieve is to identify funders to cover field trips for schools located in the karst counties so they can participate in visits to explore karst trails in the region. We also hope to engage and empower diverse communities by providing tools for virtual online exploration of these sites, and by including different perspectives and cultural stories in the projects. Examples, for instance, virtual site tours led by people of color, or English as a second language speakers. Minnesota has a large Hmong, Somali, and Native communities. And so we'd like to incorporate, for instance, Dakota place names and language into project signage if we can get some funding. But we also applied for and received an $8,000 grant from the University of Minnesota, which is paying a grad student from the University of Minnesota this summer to develop a 10-year marketing plan. And again, so you can see this has really turned into a collaborative effort. It bloomed into much more than I had anticipated it, but it's very neat. And so through the Park Service, the National Park Service Rivers, Trails, and Conservation Assistance Program, Holly Larson, who's our regional representative here, she provided an intern who developed the interactive website that provides site interpretation and information such as ease and time needed to visit a site, accessibility, is it free or fee-based, is it dog-friendly? It has maps and photos of each site. The National Speleological Society is providing free web hosting through their Conservation Task Force grant they received from, I believe it was from Amazon. DARK, which is our acronym for Driftless Area Karst website. The address is there on the screen. It's driftless.caves.org. And I'm happy to say that the website went live this week. So it's actually become a thing finally. Each of the 4 states' representatives worked independently to determine their top 10 karst features, or top 10 or so, that exhibit the best of driftless area karst. And we grouped the karst features, the stops, into what we call discovery areas based on geographic location, which are linked on our website. And so we have an interactive map, and that allows users to click on the locations throughout the 4 states. And it provides the location descriptions, wayfinding information within each discovery area. Well, and criteria for the sites are that they are open to the public normally, that the site has safe parking, and that there is a relationship to the driftless area karst. The website also directs users to the Flyover Country App, where virtual field trips of locations through the Flyover Country App are available to download. And so we're gonna take a look at the app right now. I'll show you what it looks like here. So the Flyover Country App is a National Science Foundation funded offline mobile app, and it was developed by the University of Minnesota for geoscience outreach and data discovery. Users of the app learn about the world along the path. You can, of your flight, you can use it while on a plane. You can use it while hiking or create a road trip with maps and GPS tracking. Offline maps with interactive points of interest and geologic data reveal the locations of landscape features. It has all sorts of interesting things, fossil digs, cities, and just a lot more that are visible from your airplane window seat, from your vehicle, or from a hiking trail. And the neat thing about this is that the University of Minnesota is providing us with free use of their Flyover Country app. So so far, all of this whole project we have been working on is without a budget. So we've been able to do this with actually no money so far. It took sending an email to a couple of people involved in the app and describing the project to them. They felt it was a good fit and said yes. And so through the app, the user chooses which dark discovery area they want to visit and downloads that same information that they would find on the dark website, along with GPS directions to their phone. And the really neat thing is that the app works even if there's no cell phone service. So, like, there are some discovery areas where there is no cell phone service. So both the app and the website provide links to peer-reviewed papers and other information about driftless karst. And I'm happy to say that the app itself went live yesterday too. So anyway, I decide let's just take a trip to one of the discovery areas. So I decide I want to visit this discovery area because it's not far from my house and the description sounds interesting. A map with a polygon of the discovery area displays on your phone. The user is able to see what stops are in the discovery area. In this case, they are Cherry Grove, Blind Valley Scientific and Natural Area, Mystery Cave and Big Spring, which are also in Forestville Mystery Cave State Park. So GPS codes are provided. An abstract about the discovery area is visible along with photos of the stops within the discovery area. The app allows the user to dig in deeper to specifics, the specific stop with a detailed map to get there. There's more specific, lots of specific information about the stop. All of this information was entered either by myself or a few other volunteers from the other states. And this is what it looks like from the back door. And from the front door, this is what it looks like from the user perspective. You click on the little rock hammer on the bottom left here, then create a path and you enter your search. So you can choose what discovery area you want to visit. You download that information on your phone, to your phone, and then it will guide you to the discovery area, even if there's no cell phone service. So let's go to the Minnesota Discovery Area 1. And it includes a visit to Cherry Grove, Blind Valley, Scientific and Natural Area. So we'll go there first. The description from the app reads, this SNA is far more than meets the eye. From the road, one sees a grove of trees bordered on the north by a wildlife management area planted with native grasses. Yet there is more afoot here, quite literally. Enter the SNA to find the land pitted by sinkholes and crossed by stream channels that abruptly end, known as blind valleys. A small stream called Jesse's Kill flows into the site, gradually loses water, then disappears. Except on rare occasions, surface water that enters this site, it doesn't exit, at least not above ground. All are clues to a karst landscape in this site's most outstanding feature, Goliath Cave. The cave's natural entry is gated at the base of a well-like depression walled by bands of limestone and shale. From this point, the multi-level, multi-branched cave system extends eastward far beyond the SNA boundaries. Then the description continues with an explanation of the Dubuque and Stewartville formations and its Ordovician age development. It talks about hydrologic studies conducted there, and then it beckons the visitor to continue to connect the karst dots by visiting the next stops in the discovery area. So let's go to the next stop. The next stop in the Minnesota Discovery Area 1 is to Big Spring, pictured here in Forestville Mystery Cave State Park. The water from the sinking stream in Cherry Grove resurges about 5 miles from the spring. The information about the spring, including the algific slopes above it, is on the app and on the website. It tells a visitor that it is not an accessible trail and that it is a 2-mile, one-way moderate hike. It tells them where to park for the trailhead. It lets them know that it is dog-friendly on a leash and that it requires a state park vehicle permit to enter the park. The added perk about this app is that, well, the spring is in a floodplain and this area floods all the time. And so we can't put interpretive signs here to educate the public. They would just be destroyed after the first flood. So the app fills this education gap too. So now that we're done with that hike, we're going to go to the final discovery area, the final stop in the discovery area, and that's Mystery Cave, which is nearby. So people learn about the cave from the app or the website. They can tour the cave in the summer. The app and the website tell them that it is accessible, that it's not dog friendly, that there's a fee involved, and it tells them how to get there. All the information a visitor would need is on the app and on the website. So that's one example of a discovery area in Minnesota. We'll go to just one more discovery area in Wisconsin just to give you guys an idea of what it's like. And this is discovery area number 4. And it includes several stops in Wyalusing State Park that include hikes to small caves and an overlook of the Mississippi River. The app discusses the carbonate clastic sequence of the driftless area from the contact with the underlying Jordan sandstone, which is at about the Mississippi River level, all the way up through the Prairie du Chien Dolostones, up to the overlying St. Peter sandstone. And again, all of the information a person needs to visit is available on the app and the website, as well as all the geologic information as well. And then the second stop on this Wisconsin Discovery Area 4 is at Elephant Trunk Rock. And it's just a natural sandstone rock formation in Richland Center. that resembles the trunk and a head of an elephant. And for at least a century, though, this roadside outcropping has been an attraction. But the reason this was chosen was to provide people of all abilities some education and opportunities to travel the Karst Trail. We didn't want it, just all hard hiking trails. And from either Wyalusing State Park or Elephant Rock in Ithaca, Wisconsin, the Lower Wisconsin Scenic Byway connects the two sites, but are separated by 62 miles of driftless area scenery. So we made sure that we had a variety of stops that include museums, visitor centers, hikes that range from easy to strenuous, overlooks, and even a roadside welcome center rest area that has driftless area karst information panels. So the idea of having a variety of stops is to be able to reach people with varying abilities. But it was important that we tried to connect these sites via already established scenic byways in the areas. And we were pretty successful with that. When I contacted the managers of the scenic byways to ask if they would like to participate, they were all very enthusiastic about it. The byways already have the distinction of the title and advertisement. And so it was an added benefit for both theirs and our goals. And so this is sort of a work in progress since everything just went live this week. And I can picture expanding on the discovery areas and increasing them. And so if you happen to use the app, I'd appreciate your thoughtful feedback and suggestions. And so while developing this trail was challenging, but it was a lot of fun, I just wanted to close with a question. What do you guys think of a national cave and karst trail? Again, it requires a lot of collaboration, and it's something I don't have the energy to do by myself. But if there is interest sometime in the future for developing something like that, I'd be happy to help on that. So again, I wanted to thank you guys for your time and hope that you guys have a good rest of your day. And I will stop sharing.
Okay, does anybody have any questions? And thank you, Dawn. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And sorry about the rude people.
That's
oh,
okay.
well.
Fantastic presentation, Dawn. Thanks so much. That's really great content you created for the app. I've been to most of those places in Minnesota, and I love them. Now I can't wait to go back and look at what's on the app too.
You're welcome to come back anytime, Dan.
Yeah, I also would like to say that I really enjoyed the app. I think it's a great idea. Also, the idea of creating a national trail map for karst would be very useful and important. I was looking into potentially at one point creating something for Virginia. But of course, it's always the issue of resources. But yeah, at one point, I would love to maybe touch base with you and discuss this and like see your ideas, how you would like to approach creating a national map of trails.
Oh, I'd love to talk to you about it. And like I said, one of the really neat things is so far we've done this with no money too. So
yeah. At the end, it always boils down to the volunteer work and just love for karst. Thank you so much. Really good presentation.
Yeah, count me in. I think that'd be kind of a cool idea. Although I think that some caves out west, like what's that giant Carlsbad? They might feel left out.
Well, we could always make fingers or extend it out there.
Yeah. S.E. Jones has a question. Are you all using ESRI for the mapping?
Esri, no, we are not using Esri. It's Flyover Country App is, you know, I don't know how they use it. Maybe they do. I wish I knew more about it. That'd be something to ask them.
Dawn, were you working with perhaps Amy Mirbeau when you were developing the content, or was it someone else at University of Minnesota?
For the website or for the app?
For the app.
I was working with Shane. I think his name is Lofgren. If you'd like his contact information, I can get that to you.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say you could use ESRI software or Esri software to put these things up on a web map. That might be something we could look into, Meredith, through the cave board. We'd probably just have to create and you can create a free ArcGIS online account as a user and upload your own content. So we could look into that.